Good morning and welcome back to my Potter Studio. Today we're going to do something that's one of my favorite things to do, and that's make some slip. Because I use lots of slips in lots of my creations. Now I don't color my slips because I'm using them to, I don't know, create style within my pottery, and I like to go back and glaze them and create the colors. I just haven't used colored slip yet, but today all we're going to do is make run-of-the-mill slip. What I have here is a bucket full of trimming, and I like to use my wheel trimmings because I can put them in this bucket and just let them dry, and they are thin. Sorry, I'm making a mess, but that's okay. I don't usually do them in a jar, but I wanted you to be able to see the process, and this was the best way I could think of. I'm going to take, this is a larger piece, I'm going to take it out, and we're just going to make this amount of slip. Now, all it takes is some dry clay, some water, and a deflocculant. I like to use Darvan 7. It gives it a little bit of a slick texture. I know a lot of people make slip without a deflocculant, but I like to make mine with it. Now, I don't know if you can hear it, but the water is sizzling. But what it is the clay is absolutely dry, and that the sizzling that you hear is the water permeating into the dirt and turning it back into mud. I like to use bone dry clay because it works really, really fast. As you can see, it's already starting to slack back into its wet form. We're going to give it just a little bit and allow it to completely lose form. We're going to pour off the excess water. We're going to add the Darvan, and then we're going to take this immersion blender and just make sure it's really, really smooth. And we don't want a whole bunch of water. We want it to be about probably a yogurt consistency, because then, or just a little bit thinner than that. You can put it in bottles, you can put it in applicators, and you can even pipe it like you're piping icing for a cake. So our clay has been sitting for approximately 15 to 20 minutes, and it's pretty much slacked all the way down. So we're going to take the Darvan, and it really is, you use it sparingly. It really takes only about 2 droplets. See if I can keep them. There we go. Immersion blender. All right. Now, just gonna clean this up a little bit. And it's smooth. I will transfer this into a plastic container, normally a coffee can, and then I'll seal it with like a press and seal over the top, and then put the regular lid over that, and it's good for 3 to 6 months. You may have to take the immersion blender and blend it up just a little bit more, but it will last a good long time. In fact, it might even last longer than that, but I usually use the slip up way before that. I'm going to transfer this into a container and then bring you back and we'll actually use it for making reliefs on coffee mugs. So now that we made our slip, please keep in mind that this clay and our actual slip are all the same clay body, so that as this dries, it should marry very well together. Our goal is to create a relief, and this is a very, very personalized thing, and I wanted to share with you the process that I use. First thing, I have my mug, it's already made. If you notice, I have some little blue marks, and what I did is I used one of these forms, set the mug on it, and marked the compass points so that I could align my handle, and then I'm going to align my front relief, and then I'm going to align the back relief, because I'm actually putting two reliefs on this one mug. What I have here is an image that I used my Cricut to cut out. It's one of my favorite pottery tools that doesn't actually live in my studio. This is not vinyl, it's wall cling, so I can use this over and over again. This is a mister, spray it just a little bit, because then it will stick very well to my clay. Make sure all the areas are down. I don't actually spray the clay. That would make it a little bit too damp. I have my slip in this wonderful coffee can, but I also put press and seal over the top of it, because that seals in the moisture and allows my slip to stay pretty moist for an extended amount of time. It's probably the consistency of yogurt. And I'm just going to take a paintbrush and I'm just going to blob it on here. Now, I'm patting it. I will come back and remove part of this, but the reason I'm applying it the way I am is because I don't want it to move the actual stencil. I'll get it on here. Once it's all on here, then I take another paintbrush and I kind of swirl it around. If I've got too much in one area, I just take a little bit off. But this is all working on the top. I'm not actually touching the stencil. Again, I don't think this is actually considered vinyl because it is a window cling material. Once that is done, the bottom one I put on top, it overlaps the other one, so I'm just going to very gently, working from left to right, pull the bottom stencil away. I'm going to come back again and pull the upper stencil away. What we're left with is the actual relief that we want. Now, this one is completely personalized, so I have a second stencil with the person's name. I'm going to dampen the stencil just a little bit, and I'll turn this towards you in just a second. I just need to line it up. So, here we go. Again, taking the clay, slip that matches our body of our pot, blobbing it on. I may have gotten under it just a little bit, but I can come back in with a stylus tool and scrape that off. Now, I want to give it a little bit of movement so it's not flat. You don't want any sharp peaks, but if you get one, that's something you can come back with a sponge and smooth off once it's set up. All right, again, very gingerly pull up a corner, and there we go. Now these are letters. The first one's a B. I'm going to have to come in with a stylus tool once the slip has dried a little bit, and then I'll carve the B area out. So that is probably my favorite and easiest way to personalize a mug, and it's actually quite fun to play with.